Medical examiners are accused of mishandling the autopsy of a Florida woman. Originally, Michelle O'Connell's 2010 death was declared a suicide. Authorities say she shot herself with her boyfriend's gun. That boyfriend was St. Johns County Sheriff Deputy Jeremy Banks. But family members claim the 24-year-old mother was being abused by Jeremy Banks and that he killed her. Now, a panel ordered by the Florida Medical Examiners Commission has found 2 medical examiners may have violated multiple policies. They apparently failed to mention she sustained a broken lower jawbone, which the family claims shows she was abused. The family now hopes the revelation will prove to be a turning point in the ongoing dispute over her manner of death.
The I-Team investigation, her family says they have new evidence proving medical experts were wrong. 24-year-old Michelle O'Connell's death 6 years ago was ruled a suicide by multiple agencies. But after having her remains exhumed this past January, her mother says new evidence should get her daughter's case reopened. Patty O'Connell spoke with our own Joy Purdy about the findings. It's an I-Team investigation in conjunction with our partners at Crime Watch Daily.
I really think this is the end of the story.
Patty O'Connell calls her excitement a renewed confidence now that she has what she calls new evidence in her daughter's death. 24-year-old Michelle O'Connell's family has fought for years to prove their suspicions. They say she was killed 6 years ago by her then boyfriend, Jeremy Banks, a St. Johns County Sheriff's deputy.
Keep saying, you don't have anything, you don't have anything, you have nothing, you know. Well, I believe with Dr. Anderson, we have a lot. You know, we have proof.
Michelle's remains were exhumed this past January and re-examined by Dr. Bill Anderson, a well-known forensic pathologist based in Orlando who's worked in medical examiners' offices across the country.
We have new evidence, totally new, that's never been brought to light.
Dr. Anderson says Michelle's death was a homicide, despite multiple agencies having already declared her death a suicide. He says blunt force trauma to her mandible, her jawbone, fractured it, incapacitating her before she was shot by someone else.
We are the ones that discovered the fracture only basically at the second autopsy. So all of those people that were making an assumption this was a suicide were unaware of the existence of the fractured mandible. And that's a different injury pattern, and it creates a whole different scenario in the case.
Dr. Anderson and 2 forensic dentists were asked to look at the O'Connell case by private investigator Clu Wright.
They were kind of hesitant at first to do this, but they agreed to do it, and they agreed to do it for free.
Wright has also donated his services to help the O'Connell family find even more of what he calls ignored evidence, including crime scene photos showing a bloody shirt, a gun holster, along with a black medical glove found on her boyfriend's car. All items Wright says could also help reopen the case.
I think if them pieces of evidence were gathered that night and tested, we wouldn't be sitting here today, and that case would have been solved that night.
It's renewed hope for O'Connell's mother, whose determination, she says, is fueled by her granddaughter, just 4 years old when her mom died.
I hope that we will get justice.
Because we have a chance now to get our point across and get justice for Michelle. If you believe you're right, never give up.
All 3 of us ran out the door, got in our vehicles, and immediately took off in a row. We pulled up in the driveway, noticed the door open to the house, went in through the kitchen, and first door on the left I noticed was open is where I saw some feet laying on the floor.
Alright, this is Detective Haymans. It is officially September 3rd at 1:23 in the morning. I'm here with Jeremy Banks. Jeremy, tell me about tonight. Tell me where you at, what did you guys have going on?
We were at the amphitheater for the concert that went on, and we argued a little bit there. We, argued a little bit earlier today, but nothing terrible. Just we were both fed up with each other's bullcrap that we've been dealing with. We've been together a year and some odd months, I guess a month now, but we were at the show. I enjoyed the show. She enjoyed the show, from what I understand. And in the car, we were talking about it. We had decided that we were going to break up. She was going to move out. We came home, and we weren't arguing when we got home. We got home, and we talked about it. We just said, enough's enough. We've been fighting. We're done. We're tired of each other's shit. And I told her that I do love her, that I love Alexis, her little girl, but I just don't feel like we're best friends anymore. It's not working out, and she agreed.
Right.
I sat on my motorcycle, and that's when I heard the gun pop.
Okay. And then you were outside in the yard, driveway?
My motorcycle's in the garage. I was sitting on it with my head down, just upset about, the breakup.
Sure.
And I heard it pop, and I knew exactly what it was. Just instinct. I just said, "Oh shit!" And I ran inside. I started screaming her name. The bedroom door was locked, and I screamed her name again. I heard it go off again for the second time. I ran into the living room. I grabbed the phone. And I kicked the bedroom door in, and I found her laying where she is.
Okay.
The sheriff's office showed up.
Okay. What was it? What'd you get to drink tonight?
I was drinking beer.
What kind of beer?
Bud Light.
Oh.
Big ones. I don't know why.
How many do you think you had?
4, 5, maybe.
Okay. And I know this part's really hard, Jeremy, but when you did get that door open, you're on the phone with 911. Tell me exactly what you did.
I kicked the door open. I kind of veered in. I saw her feet. I ran in. I saw the blood coming out. I just grabbed her hand and I started. I don't know what.
Hey! Please get someone to my house. It's 4700 Sherlock Place.
What's going on?
Please, my girlfriend, I think she just shot herself with blood everywhere, please.
She what?
She shot herself. Please.
Okay,
Please get someone here. Please.
Ma'am, I need you to calm down.
It's sir.
Ma'am, listen to me.
It's sir. Listen, hang on. Let me tell you the truth. I'm Deputy Banks with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. I work with y'all. Get someone here now.
Okay, I need you to calm down then. You know how it goes. What's the address?
4700 Sherlock Place.
Okay, what's going on there?
My girlfriend just shot herself with my weapon. Please get someone here now. Please.
Sir, we're doing that while I'm talking to you. Is she still breathing?
No, there's blood coming out of everywhere. Please.
Okay, so she's not breathing.
Call dispatch on TAC 2. Get them here now.
Sir, they are on the phone. I need you to calm down. Jeremy, we're coming as fast as we can, okay? Calm down for me, okay?
You don't understand.
We're coming as quick as we can.
Please get someone here.
Jeremy.
The last day Michelle was at work, before she passed, she was working with the children next to me. And my classroom, my office is in the middle of all the classrooms, and there's glass between each classroom, so I can see everything all the time, and I know everything that's going on. Well, she was working in the classroom directly next to me with the 2-year-olds, and she was singing, and she was singing the Barney song. You know, clean up, everybody, everywhere. And then she was singing, immediately went into, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, and playing, and she had a delightful day. There was nothing to indicate that there was anything wrong or that she was upset or sad.
Saved message. Hey Mom, sorry that you got upset earlier. Just want to tell you I love you, and I will call you tomorrow morning, and hopefully we can have breakfast one day. I love you. Bye.
You said you had to sort of put her on the ground. How exactly did you do that?
Well, I grabbed her wrist, and I put my leg behind hers, and I just kind of swung her around, and I just held her wrist on the ground until she calmed down because I didn't want to get hit.
Would that be what you would classify as an armbar takedown?
Well, I would more of a leg sweep. I put my leg behind hers, and I just kind of turned and used her momentum.
How tall are you?
6'1"-ish.
And how much do you weigh?
225.
And how big is Michelle?
She was good 6 inches shorter than me, I guess. Maybe, I don't know.
The autopsy report says she was 5'4" and weighed about 119 pounds.
Okay.
Did you feel it necessary to do a leg sweep on her?
Well, I felt it necessary to kind of neutralize the situation and not get hit.
Okay, that's good in police jargon. We're just talking amongst
I'm
person to person.
I'm sorry.
In other words, I'm just asking you as a person to person, not as a textbook response to a police inquiry. Okay, I'm just saying, was she that aggressive toward you, where you felt like you had to do a leg sweep and take her down?
She said, "I hate you." She threw a chair down and she ran across the house after me, sir. I had to do I did what I did to make sure I didn't get hit.
Okay.
Listen, comfy spinny chair, not this system.
I never saw where she actually shot herself. I didn't see any wounds. I didn't see an exit wound. I didn't see anything. I just saw her lips were already blue and there was a lot of blood. And the gun, I've already read the report. I know I probably shouldn't have. But I just wanted to know what was done on the other side.
He used to live with me. He used to live in my house. Yeah, he's had temper issues. He'd get mad and he'd run out of the house, walk down the street, disappear for a while. He'd drink and he'd just get pissed. He'd throw shit around and just throw a fit. There was a couple times where I had to grab a hold of him and say, "Man, you just need to chill out." It was one night. I think they just got back from the conch house, and he was apparently a girl that he was supposed to meet or was supposed to go and hang out with him. She called and canceled, and he just got really pissed off, and I was like, "Dude, there's more people out there." He was just cold and mad and angry, and he went into his room and slammed the door, and then he came back out a little bit later and ran out of the house. And I was like, I told John, I says, he's just trying to get attention. Just let him blow off steam. I'm not his father. I'm not his babysitter.
We were in the garage having a cigarette. We heard some arguing, so that's what initially brought us even out of the garage. We stood here and tried to listen for a second.
What direction is it coming from?
It's coming from back over that way right there, in between the houses.
Over there, between the two houses?
Between the house and the fence. We knew it was coming from right over there in that open patch. We heard a woman yell for help, and then we heard a gunshot, and then there was another yell for help, and then another gunshot. It was help. Plain as plain can be, it was help. You knew something was wrong. There was nothing playful, no nothing. It was somebody that was scared.
This is the gun.
I have to pull it out.
I think it's a retention holster.
Apparently we don't know how to open this.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how to open it? I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't know. This is the way that I believe that the suicide occurred.
The medical examiner said the bruise above Michelle O'Connell's eye was caused by the tactical light as the gun was fired. But the distance from the eye injury to the mouth is 3 inches, while the distance from the outer rim of the light to the top of the gun barrel is closer to 2 inches, so the light would not have lined up with the eye injury. There's another problem with this theory. The gun would have had to move forward after it was fired to cause the injury. But forensic experts said basic laws of physics dictate that the gun recoils when it's fired. Using the same make and model gun, we took slow-motion video of the gun being fired upside down. It never moves forward. Forensic experts also said that if Ms. O'Connell held the gun like this, the shell might not have ejected because her hand would have covered the ejection port. And even if the shell had ejected, it would have gone in this direction. But the 2 shells were found in this corner.
That in the 32 years that I've been a prosecutor, I have always accepted that there are cases that simply cannot be proved, regardless of whether I think the person's guilty or I don't know whether they're guilty or not. I know that there are guilty people walking the streets on cases that I have simply looked at and said, I'm sorry, but given the admissible evidence, we cannot prove this. And yeah, that is a difficult proposition that comes with doing my job. But I've sworn as much of an oath and as much as a duty to refuse to prosecute people when I believe the evidence is not sufficient, as I have to prosecute people when it is. So the reality is, when you talk about this case, yes, there is a visceral sense of, oh, what if she was murdered and this guy goes free? There ought to be at least some visceral sense, what if she did commit suicide and he's in prison for the rest of his life?
Did you get a sense in talking to him that he might be trying to steer you in a particular direction?
Yes, sir. The whole tone of the interview was for me to tailor my report or soften my report to where it would be more conducive to suicide rather than homicide.
Had you ever experienced something like that before?
No, sir, not in any case I've ever worked.
And I'm going to ask that Jeremy and Scott stand up. Would you two stand up? Let's give these two guys a hand. There we go.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is if I got some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head, help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.